Every December, on or about December 8th, our Sisters of Charity renew their vows, our commitment to the College of Mount St. Vincent. Loving God, we thank you for bringing us together this day to listen, learn, plan, and connect. In these challenging times, we call upon your Spirit to inspire us to continue to carry out the sacred mission for which we are all called to, individually and collectively, with courage. May we, the college community, continue to embrace faithful stewardship to best serve students and each other with a spirit of reverence. May we open ourselves up to a loving relationship to the God of our understanding and be renewed by the creative energy of this relationship. May we strive to follow the example of Jesus by seeking to do the will of God as revealed in the decisions of those entrusted with authority at the College of Mount St. Vincent and in the insight and needs of others, as well as the signs of the times. Compassionate Creator, raise what is awakening in us up to your light, so that we may better discern the action of your Spirit, calling us forth in this dawning age of charity rising, now more than ever. Amen. Amen.
Matthew. Good morning. I can't tell you how full my heart is, really quite honestly, to see all of us together. Yes, a little bit obstructed by masks, but to be together in this room today is such a beautiful, wonderful gift. And so I say to my colleagues at any institution that I'm at, I have 2 favorite days of the year. I have lots of favorite days. As my father says, every day is a good day, some days are better than others. And my 2 favorite days are this day and commencement. This day because we've not seen some of our colleagues and friends for a while. Commencement because we all come together to celebrate the reason why we're here, our students, to celebrate with them and their families. And so this day is a celebration of our family, our coming together, our community. Before I get started, I've got some things that I need you to do. Because we've not been together like this, you've not necessarily seen me in action like this. And what you will quickly learn about me is that I don't like talking at people, although I do that more than I like to. I like to engage my audience, engage my community. And so my first engagement with you all, I need you to stand up. Now, we're going to do what I'm going to call the Chesney Challenge. That Chesney Challenge means nothing to you. My former president at Clark University, his name is Tom Chesney. And on his first, we didn't call it All College Day, but All College Day, he did what I call the Chesney Challenge. So if your birthday is between the months of January and June, I need you to put your hands in front of you, but open. Okay? Or you but open. If your birthday is from July to December, I need you to put your hands together, kind of not necessarily diligently in prayer, although you should always be diligently in prayer, but kind of in front of you. Okay? So open and in front of you. Now stay put. and love finding many different ways to do that. And you're going to hear me say that a couple of times in my presentation. I just realized I want to stop so I can read perhaps a little bit better and you can see my face. We've got such great stories to tell. You are part of that story. And so, later today, you will be on my Instagram at Susan R. Burns because you are a part of this family, this Finn family. And I'm so pleased and proud to work with you, privileged to serve you, to serve our students together. So that's my first engagement for our presentation. Some of you might have seen things like this floating around the internet. This is especially the time where it's back to school photos, right? How many of you put up back to school photos of your kids? My youngest, my son started college his sophomore year at a new school. He refused to send me a picture. I even tried to capture one on FaceTime. He still refused. We shared a photo string. He quickly deleted that photo. So before the semester begins, we often are filled with enthusiasm, filled with energy, filled with love, excitement, ready to learn, right? And look at Vinny. He's ready to go, right? If you don't follow Vinny on Instagram, you should, because Vinny's on Instagram as well. Something happens. I'm not sure what, but after the semester begins, we tend to look a little bit different. Vinny, by the way, looks still spectacular and ready to go. And that's part of who we are as a community. Every day we show up, we may look a little bit different, but every day we show up and we're ready to go, ready to receive our students in the ways they need to be received, and the ways in which we know that we can serve them. And guess what? Again, I got a photo of you beautifully already. I'm going to challenge you another audience engagement for the moment. I'm guessing you chose to sit with people you sat with because you kind of like them. If they're new to you, make sure you introduce yourself. What I'm encouraging at least one of your group to do, I'm going to say pick 4 or 5 people around you. We're going to stop and take a selfie. So, with the 4 or 5 people around you, one person, you're willing to take a photo of your group. Rock Rose doing it. Yeah, you can stand up, sit down, or do yourself, and take a selfie. But not in your send the photo to public relations at Mount St. Vincent.edu. And I but also take some moments to document. Document the experience of today. Because again, you feel like that by the end of the day. I think you'll look better than that by the end of the day. You'll look more like me. But I want our public relations office to have that information available to them. All right, so we're going to see if this works or not. I'm not sure if it will. No, it's not going to work. All right, so if this had worked, my engagement would be a poll. But I'm going to do a quick turn, pair, share, where we're going to tell the people right next to you what is one word that you would use to describe how you're feeling this morning. Real quickly, tell the people right around you what's one word that you would one word. I want you to tell your colleagues, what is your why? So we've done this hashtag VaxCMSA, what is your why for being vaccinated? But I want you to, for this moment, to focus on why are you here? Not just today. Why are you here every day? Why are you at the mountain? You have one word. Tell your neighbors.
One word.
From January until now, I want you standing. So please stand up. By the way, we do that every day. You walk into a room and start clapping. At least that's been my experience. I don't know what your experience is. No, we're so glad you're here. Really sincerely, we're so glad you're here. And for all of you who didn't stand up, again, please remember your why. Please remember to share your why to help others understand these phenomenal stories that we have about the College of Mount St. Vincent. So, some updates and a look ahead. Here's where, please pay attention. I'm not going to have you stand up, sit down, clap, all of those different things. I've got a lot to tell you because a lot's been happening at this right place on the river. The summer has been different than last summer with regard to planning for the reopening during a pandemic. And with thanks to the Excellence in Teaching Committee yesterday, the thought about, John, about how long of our students' lifespan this pandemic has been in existence. For us, it's minuscule. It's really just a small part of our story. For our students, it's pretty significant. And for our incoming new students, if you think about it, this has really only been their adult experience. And so being mindful of the fact that we all come at this from different perspectives and experiences and so forth, but for our students, this is what they know in the context of how they're entering their college experience. Now, the state of New York has not offered additional guidance beyond recommending that we follow CDC guidelines. New York City, however, has been clear that we are under, because we are in New York City, the key New York City restrictions, whereby we are required to check vaccination records for indoor dining, fitness, and entertainment events. And so you will see things coming into place very shortly with checking of vaccination records in the dining hall at Peter J. Sharp and various events that the students have. And I shared with the faculty in attendance yesterday at the Excellence in Teaching workshop that, ironically, I think, classrooms are not considered entertaining. So your classrooms are not going to check vaccination. I know they're entertaining, but they approach it differently. We can continue to communicate with the Mountain community our requirements of vaccination, and that link, I'm not going to click on it, is our vaccination requirements page. The information that we've been used as a portal to communicate with our community about what the expectations are, the requirements are, the incentives are for vaccination to be at the Mount. This vaccination requirement is fully enforced now that the Pfizer vaccine has received full authorization. Moderna is shortly behind it, and so that requirement for vaccination is in full force. Employees must be fully vaccinated before September 7th, the first day of classes, or receive approved exemption. Students have until October 15th. And I've had some people say, why did you wait for students? Well, in part, we set this requirement when we didn't have fully authorized vaccines. We weren't sure exactly when that was going to happen. And at the same time, we know that we have some students who may want to be vaccinated but don't have families who support the vaccination. We wanted them to have the opportunity to come to campus, make their own decisions about vaccination, and to be vaccinated without that pressure, perhaps, from the family. The indoor mask mandate for hallway passing and public spaces, including classrooms, remains in effect. But when the community, as I said in my communication, the community gets to 80% vaccinated, I will lift that mask mandate. I can't wait, really can't wait to lift that mask mandate. Currently, if you go on the website, you'll see that we're approximately at 60% for the entire community. Students, faculty, staff, and administrators have submitted their proof of vaccination. Based upon our survey data that we had, we all received a survey at one point in time that asked about your intent or experience of vaccination. Based upon our survey data, we're probably closer to 70% or a little above 70%. If you have not submitted your vaccine documentation yet, please do so as soon as possible, because that's what we're using to make decisions about lifting mask mandate. If you have submitted for exemption, please know that human resources and for our student affairs are reviewing those exemptions and we'll be in contact. Don't panic, we're working on that. There have been so far a limited number of employees and students who have submitted requests for exemption, be it medical or religious. The medical exemption requests are fairly straightforward. They're fairly straightforward. The religious exemption requests are a little less straightforward, however, are being carefully reviewed by human resources and again, student affairs staff. We are preparing, as you likely know, because you've read all the information online, we are preparing for classes to be in person in instances where we expected them to be in person. If it was already scheduled to be an online class, it's going to be an online class without social distancing. And with great thanks to the faculty for their work with Provost Bongiovanni and Dr. O and all of those who've been involved in conversations about how do we navigate an in-person classroom during a pandemic that is still present. We now have agreed upon excuse absence policies. And thank you, faculty, for that work, and thank you to my colleagues. We'll not be offering the same kind of remote option that we did in the past academic year. Faculty have a little bit more freedom freedom to choose how they deal with students having to be out. Students, however, will not be excused for their absences unless they provide a proof of a positive COVID test. And so we're being more like what we were prior to the pandemic, managing illness and excuse of absence. And so, again, patience will be necessary. And patience not only with our students, as they learn these policies, even if they read them out before, it's different. Patience with our colleagues who may look like that photo or feel like that photo. Patience with yourselves is going to be really, very important during this process because we're still in the thick of it. And so it will be more like normal. And that word makes me cringe just a little bit because we know some of our colleagues and our students are not able to return to what was normal before our pandemic. I'll say typical instead, but we're not there yet. Finally, in the context of COVID-19 updates, I want to say with a quick thanks to Bill Stern, our athletic director, who's over there. We have been working closely together, and he has been working with his colleagues in the Skyline Conference to try to figure out exactly what we're doing for our student athletes who are so eager, so very eager to return to the field, the court, and so forth. And although the Skyline Conference itself has not been really directive as to what we should expect to do or what we should do, and Bill and the others, athletic directors and so forth, have been in good communication about what each campus is establishing as expectations for participation. Bill and I have agreed that, consistent with the college-wide policies, students will be vaccinated to participate in athletics this year. They'll need to be vaccinated. That's especially important in the context of those indoor settings because of New York City requirements as well. We've also said that for our students to travel to other places to compete, we want them to be vaccinated as well. And as people enter into our community, again, this is not going to be a surprise, we expect them to be vaccinated to be on our campus and compete as student athletes. Now, we will allow spectators, which for me, for my husband, we are thrilled that we'll be able to attend athletic events this year. We'll expect our spectators to be vaccinated as well and masked if indoor. Okay, so we again are working back towards what would be expected of a typical college experience. Not exactly there yet. We're doing everything with the utmost commitment to health and safety. And so I ask, again, not only for your patients, for your students, for each other, for yourself, but with me, as we communicate these various things, because as you've experienced, so much is changing so very quickly. And so stay tuned and patient on that process. Enough of the pandemic, we're so over that by now. Right. Let's talk about it in a moment. As Dr. Quinn, I'm sure, has shared in recent years, the recruiting process for traditional undergraduate age students is something that is not done in May. Wouldn't that be a lovely, wonderful thing if you could say our full class is done recruiting in May and life is good and we can focus on the next group? That's not the way it goes. And please know that that's not unique to the Mount. Let me be abundantly clear. At every institution I've been at, we've recruited all the way up to the last day of classes. And so, for a moment, I would like our admissions, financial aid, student accounts, obviously, athletics. If you are in one of those categories, stand up so we can thank you. It truly does take a village. And again, every institution I've been at, that has been the case. We are all in the business of recruitment and retention. We are. How we interact with each other, how we interact with our respective students and their families, helps them imagine whether or not they want to be here. And so, again, great thanks to our colleagues for that. Our fall numbers will not be final, as you well know, until October 15th. With that said, though, just kind of a high-level preview of where we're at. As of today, we are slightly behind budget on our first-time, full-time freshman numbers. We are ahead of budget in our transfer recruitment. We are ahead in our accelerated nursing budget numbers for both Queens and Riverdale. Our graduate numbers are strong in our graduate programs, and our enterprise partner programs are also strong for what we had last year and to be expected on the budget as well. Additionally, we have new, I'm going to say, unbudgeted in context of revenue. It's really important, not in context of expense, but in revenue. Enrollment opportunities that are helping close the gap that has been created by the lower enrolled freshman class. Two examples that I'll talk about a little bit more in a moment include the teach out of the Concordia adult degree completion programs, and we continue to explore new opportunities for King's Education for bringing international students to campus, whether they're taking our classes right away or they're taking English language learning classes through King's but on our campus. And so those are opportunities that will help close that gap for those members. Our retention is looking strong, and we continue to readmit students daily. Again, thank you to all who are involved in that process. It takes a lot of people to be involved in that process. But again, we won't know those final numbers until October. So kind of in sum for enrollment, we're projecting an enrollment deficit so far in the traditional undergraduate for both fall and spring. However, between the things that I've mentioned as increases in on-target projections, and in addition to our use of federal relief funds to help close that gap, we're doing well financially, which leads me to our next update. Finance. As you may recall, the college received approximately $3.8 million in a payroll protection program, and I'm only going to focus on that for just a moment. We've received other federal relief funds. We've received 3 infusions, basically, of federal relief funds that are for the institution, but also for our students. This loan allowed the college to bring back colleagues who were furloughed and to avoid massive layoffs that other small and large colleges and universities were faced earlier in the pandemic. We were able to better serve our students and the community with the retention of our colleagues because of that payroll protection program, that PPP loan. The amount we used that money to help balance the budget last year, and I'm pleased to share that we've learned that the PPP loan that we've had has been considered a forgiving loan. That's fantastic. My next colleagues, please stand. That is significant. Significant that we secured it, again with thanks to my colleagues, is significant that it has been forgiven. We're in the process of distributing a student portion of the Higher Education Emergency Relief Fund, the latest round of funding for students, which has helped many students pay off their balances and offset some of the financial hardship they and their families have experienced during the pandemic. These funds are having and will continue to have a positive impact on enrollment and retention of our students. As noted in my comments about enrollment, we are appropriately using this money, or appropriately using the other institutional funds given to amount for lost revenue to help close that gap. Overall, from a financial perspective, again, we're in a strong place, which gave me the confidence to support the 2% across-the-board salary increase, some equity, and 2% restoration of matching funds to the 403B for those who are eligible for those benefits. Again, the MAC is a special place for so many reasons, and we're in a good place, and where other small colleges and universities are struggling, we're doing well. We're doing well because of you, because of your commitment to the mission, because of your commitment to the values and what we do. And so, my thanks for your commitment. Of course, I'm going to ask you, those of you, especially who are budget managers, please continue to be good stewards of the resources available to you. Do not overspend, watch your budgets carefully, and be mindful of the fact that we do have limited resources and we want to use those resources wisely. On the academic front, today is the day, right, Dr. Von Giovanni? Today's the day that we get to kick off some Middle States conversation. How excited are you? No cost. Okay. So our self-study framework and plan were approved by Middle States, so we're on our way. And thank you to Carlos Von Giovanni, Dr. David Gallo, where you are, I'm sure you are. Thank you so very much for taking the lead in that process. Thank you to the many of you who have agreed to be on our work groups, and for the community. We all need to be involved. We all need to be involved because when we get to the point of their visit, everyone needs to know and understand what we do, how we do, why we do, and how well we do those things that we do. It's a very important process. On another accreditation front, we submitted our self-study for the Accreditation Review Commission on Education for the Physician Assistance Program, or PA. Can my PA colleagues stand up, please? Congratulations on the submission of that. That is like a huge and heavy weight lifted because it's out of our hands now, and they did an excellent job putting that together. We will have a virtual practice in September, and they will be our on-site review in October, and we expect very good things to happen out of that. Our original plan was for a cohort size of 40, but because of the significant, meaningful work of our colleagues as they have worked diligently to build out this physician assistant program, which will be excellent, we have been able to secure enough clinical placements to expand that cohort size. And so we are thrilled with the work that they've done and look forward to their success with the self-study review. Some other academic updates that are moving kind of into what I would call an implementation planning portion of our experience at this point. Some of you have been informed, some of you have been involved, some of you don't know necessarily, that we recently, within this past few months, signed an agreement with an organization that's called Orbis Education. We've not done a big splash or announcement yet because work is still very much underway. But Orbis Education works with small colleges and universities who have very specifically healthcare programs to expand those healthcare programs. Orbis was very impressed with our nursing program, very impressed with our colleagues that we have in nursing, and very excited to partner with us to expand our accelerated nursing program. And so stay tuned on that. And I do want to say, with thanks to our new team, welcome back, Dr. Susan Gill. We are thrilled. We are thrilled about what exciting opportunities exist in expanding that. And so stay tuned for more. But know that that partnership really is one that was not rushed into and was board supported. Talked to our board members about this, and they are very much on board and support as well. It will take work, not just with the nursing department. There will be many offices that will be involved in that. One of the things that is so exciting for all of us, you just don't know it yet, is that Orbis Education does significant investments in marketing, communication, student recruitment, and student support. And so when we turn on the valve of that relationship, when they're ready to start fully recruiting for the expansion of our accelerated nursing program, you will see the College of Mount St. Vincent in places where you've not seen it before. Now, I have to be honest with you, it's going to say College of Mount St. Vincent Accelerated Nursing, but a lift to one is a lift to all. And that's a priority for all of us. And so stay tuned for more on that. Another implementation, I have mentioned to many of you, but not all of you, that I have been in conversations with the Concordia Conservatory Executive Director and some of her board for a number of months now about the possibility of bringing the Concordia Conservatory to the Mount as Concordia College in New York is closing. After many conversations, it is their best decision for the moment to separate it as a separate entity so they could retain their endowment, the restricted funds that have been fundraised specifically for the conservatory. And I fully understand and appreciate and support that decision. If you're not familiar with the Concordia Conservatory, I'd say Google it because they do amazing work with youth, with adults, with ensembles. They work well with the Concordia College student population as well. You may not know that selfishly, as a musician, in addition to being a psychologist, I wanted to bring the music back to the Mount. And so, what we did is we hired a new colleague, Mr. Keith Krendler. Just stand up real quick, Keith, because I want you to see him. Keith has been working with the Concordia Conservatory for a number of years. A Riverdale resident, correct me if I'm wrong, yes, Riverdale resident, who is excited decided to bring the College of Mount St. Vincent Conservatory to life. So we will have, again, music back at the Mount. Stay tuned. Please know that today's his first day. He looks great. Tomorrow, he may look differently, he'll still look great. But this first semester, he's really going to be working kind of behind the scenes with colleagues on campus, off campus, to really start building out what will be not, let me be clear at this moment, not a music major. I'm not opposed to music majors, I started off as one. But what we want to do instead is look more broadly about how we engage music in the life of our students and our community. And so building relationships off campus with individuals who might want to bring their kiddos to the Mount for music lessons, perhaps. Or ensembles who want to come to our chapel and play in that beautiful space. Or ensembles for our students to expand the opportunity for them to take lessons or engage in music in ways that for me as a student was so life-fulfilling that I think we can do beautifully here as well. So we're excited about the work that Keith is going to do. He is a joint appointment in faculty and with the conservatory as well. And so he'll be working with colleagues in all kinds of different areas. Please make sure you introduce yourself to him, but to all of your colleagues as well. And so lots of good things are happening. So I mentioned the final update that I want to give for academics. I mentioned that we are the Teach Out institution for the Concordia Adult Degree Completion, Accelerated Degree Options. This summer we hired Dr. Amy Heath. Amy, stand up for just a moment. Amy has been fantastic. She was fantastic before she got here and has been fantastic since she's been here. She held this position at Concordia and has been doing great work, not only to bring the logistics of supporting these students in the Teach Out. We've got approximately 35 adult students in Teach Out, but she's also been working very closely with Lynn on how do we use this as an opportunity, as a springboard into meeting adult learners when and where they need us. For the Mount to be the place, that right place on the river for those adult learners to complete degrees or to seek degrees. And so we will continue to explore what those opportunities mean, submitting the necessary applications to the state of New York for both